What's this idiot making? She just put eggnog in a pie crust and now it's going to sprinkle some nutmeg on top of it. Some vanilla jello pudding. And then she's going to stir that. Okay, now she just poured that jello pudding out of that paper box, that cardboard box that it comes in, And you know that jello pudding does not come in just the cardboard box. It's actually in a plastic wrapper. So they open up the plastic wrapper, dump it back into the box.
Are you sure they didn't just open up the wrapper inside?
No, there's no wrapper in it. Okay, watch. Look, so eggnog, nutmeg.
I hate nutmeg.
Look, there's no wrapper in there. If it was, it wouldn't be coming out that easy.
Oh, and it would have fallen out. That's such...
I'm not going to lie. The pie does look good when it's done, though.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of From Art to Atoms,
the Ultimate Curiosity Show.
I'm Brandon Shoemaker.
This is Michael.
And Michael is sitting here with his shawl on tonight.
It's not a shawl. It is a blanket.
I know, but it looks like a shawl from here.
No, it's not.
I can't complain because I'm the one who owns a cloak and wears it. So I worked to the movies last night, so...
You sure
chilly.
did, and we made fun of you.
I don't care.
I understand that. I brought this blanket to the movies, and I don't care either. People are like, oh my God, you're bringing a blanket? I'm like, yes.
They sell them at the movies,
Thank
of course.
Comfortable
Why wouldn't you?
seats, big movie theater, dark room. It's going to be cold in there.
Uh-huh.
And I sure was warm under my little blanket.
Technically, my cloak is just a wearable blanket that has a hood, by the way. But that's how it's actually marketed.
It looks more like a cloak.
Well, good. That's what I was going for, but...
we got Thomas a wearable blanket today at Aldi.
Oh,
and
yeah?
It looked like a poncho basically made out of, blanket material.
Oh, I'm going to have to go get one of those then.
I think they were like $20.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I paid for mine, too, so...
Yeah, but it's, huge.
Oh, it's one of the big ones?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I want one of the big ones. It's full size almost, comes down to his...
It looks like he's in a dress.
Yeah, that's what I would really like. All right, so today we are not talking about the weather or oddball garments that we wear as apparently old men these days. We are actually talking about something quite youthful, or at least it was in our youth. Saturday morning cartoons.
I was going to say, I don't think they do Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
No, they don't. That's part of what I want to talk about.
Wow.
It is a thing of the past. They are no more.
A true past thing, because it started in the 1960s.
Yeah, it really did. It started in the 60s, carried on through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and then in the late 90s, early 2000s, they gradually started dropping off, and then they completely fell out of favor.
Do you know why?
Well, I was researching to try to find a reason. There's no specific pinpoint reason. It's a number of different reasons. Oh, you found a specific reason?
It's the government.
Well, no, that was a factor, but that's not the sole reason of why.
It was the government.
Well, tell us why the government.
I will
Saturday
in time.
morning
I'm not going to start off our episode with the end and then return back to the beginning.
Oh, well, why not? That's a good way to look at things of the past.
So if you think about in the late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of the Saturday morning cartoons were being replaced with a lot of shows based on sports and educational stuff. It was not just for entertainment,
right?
Because the government came in and said, hey, look, you cannot have these things just be purely entertainment. They have to have some educational value in it. And so they started making things more educational. Well,
sometimes I wish they would make that standard for primetime.
So they started making them more educational. Well, guess who stopped watching them? Yeah. So, and then when they became less popular, they started getting away from that.
Well, that was one factor.
That's the main factor.
That was I wouldn't even say necessarily the main factor. There were a number of factors. Some included the fact that when we talk about Saturday morning cartoons, we're primarily talking about the big three networks: NBC, ABC, and CBS.
I don't.
You don't?
I have to include Fox. In the 90s, Fox was very big on that.
Well, true. Yeah. Fox did have a big Saturday morning cartoon
in the 90s.
push. In the 90s,
right.
Yes.
They have a presence there in the 90s, yes.
But previously, it was the big three. And part of what sort of made them start falling out of favor is because the big three networks wanted to have a weekend series that continued their morning news shows. So like every Saturday morning now, I watch the Today Show. And that was what essentially started replacing Saturday morning cartoons initially were these news shows. And so I forget which network it was, but one of their networks, their Saturday morning cartoon bracket, the demographic for that was adults in their 40s because they just left the TV on after watching the news show. And so that was another factor, was that kids who woke up early didn't want to, watch the news and then watch cartoons. And so that was another contributing factor. Ratings overall had an influence. And another one that I'd never really found any specific data on, this is just a personal theory, but another reason that I think led to the downfall of Saturday morning cartoons is the internet. Because think of, when they started falling out of favor in the early 2000s, when you had more entertainment coming about through, especially for children, through the internet. So I think that might have had a factor as well in terms of at least why the ratings started falling.
But even in the early 2000s, you didn't have the access that you have now to those.
True.
Like you had YouTube, but YouTube was very primitive.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. But then what other sources of entertainment would you have had to replace that, though, in the early 2000s? Because I remember still being in college, early 2000s, and
yeah,
Pokemon was still on. Like some of these were still on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess the internet is just an easy scapegoat.
Yeah. And I say ratings fall out because the content of the cartoons and the content of Saturday morning programming changed. So it doesn't have really, that's what I'm saying. The government came in and said, we're going to regulate this. You have to have so much educational content based on this demographic that you're trying to target. And when they try to do that, think about, so like Bill Nye the Science Guy came out, right?
Oh, but I loved Bill Nye.
I understand that, but not everything was as cool as like Beekman's World was cool.
Yeah.
Those are the two that kind of I remember watching in the mid 90s. But the stuff that tried to come out, think about like Dora the Explorer.
I don't know. That was really popular in its time.
Right, but she wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon. She was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
That wasn't that demographic of time frame.
Well, and that's what I was going to say also is cable networks started competing for younger viewership as well. And so you didn't have this time bracket. First off, you weren't limited to just 3 stations like in, the olden days. And so, for us, when we were growing up, that was the only time that was really dedicated to our entertainment. But now, and now this was the case in the early. So no, I rescind my previous comment, my previous theory. I don't think it was the internet. I think it was cable.
Okay.
That really spelled the downfall of Saturday morning cartoons, because you had like Cartoon Network, you had Nickelodeon, you had entire networks that were devoted to that content.
Yeah, but there were certain things even before Cartoon Network came out. Okay. Let's go back to our childhood, 1980s.
Yeah.
That decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of where you got your cartoons from. So Saturday morning was the major 3. In the 90s, Fox came out. They had X-Men, they had Spider-Man, they had their programming came out. Cable-wise, you had Nickelodeon and USA. USA used to have the Saturday morning cartoons.
USA Kids, or something.
No,
like
it wasn't USA Kids. It was the USA Network. Used to have they used to have a cartoon train.
Yeah, but I thought they branded it as USA Kids on Saturday mornings.
Nah, I don't know if it was branded as kids, but this happened also during the week though.
Oh, okay.
On Sunday mornings especially.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's not during the week, but they did do it on Sunday mornings though.
Yeah.
And they ran a lot of reruns of the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons and stuff like that,
Well, and another thing too, outside the Saturday morning time bracket, after school cartoons were a popular thing, again, especially on Fox.
Yeah.
I remember. And so that was where, a lot of, so that, and then also, I guess it was also Fox again that did early morning weekday cartoons, because that was where I used to watch the Muppet Babies most frequently. I watched the Muppet Babies every
weekday mornings before school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
There was it had to be Fox or maybe like UPN or something like that.
Oh, UPN was like 95.
One of the I know I'm thinking of like or whatever it was. So maybe it was on that channel 46 that I was watching. It was either Fox or because you got to remember Fox in the 80s and 90s was kind of left up to the affiliate networks.
Yeah.
You know, so what I watched in South Carolina may not have been the same thing that you watched on Fox in New Orleans in, you know, the early morning hours.
Right.
Now your prime time was nationally syndicated, or nationally programmed. So back to our central topic of Saturday morning cartoons.
Saturday morning cartoons.
So, you know, that was, but you know, going back to what we were originally saying about it, that was our childhood's time that was devoted to entertainment for us as young children.
Right. And when you look at a lot of the Saturday morning cartoons, like the reason for that, especially in the 60s and the 70s, was that parents could put their kids in front of the television and let them watch it while the parents did something else.
Yeah.
Whether that is taking care of the cleaning, laundry,
mowing
house,
the lawn.
right. So stuff they didn't have to worry about. It was basically babysitting service for parents. And so that's where it starts off with. And I will say, I remember that even in the 80s, it was babysitting service for us. You know, I remember that. And
I would watch it by myself and my mom would clean the house.
Yep. And it was always a disappointing Saturday when mom would say, okay, you've had enough, time to turn it off. And I'm like, no.
Oh, I wasn't. It was so like the last cartoon that would air on Saturday mornings, and I don't remember which channel this was, but the last show that would air would be either Looney Tunes or Bugs Bunny and Friends, one of its incarnations.
Right.
And I think that didn't start until noon and went off at 1. It was like an hour long.
Y'all were later than us. I remember the last kind of big thing that, well, maybe it was not the last thing that was on. The last thing that I remember watching came on around 10 o'clock.
Well, okay.
10:30.
Here's the thing. That might have been when your mom cut you off, because I didn't even know that show was on until I was like at least probably 8 or 9.
No.
Because
this was me in my teens. It wasn't even like, this is me in my teens. I remember, so X-Men used to come on at 10 o'clock on Fox on Saturday mornings. And I remember that was kind of the last cartoon I'd watch, like the last thing I'd watch. Because after that, I was kind of like, I'm not really interested in some of the other stuff coming on. But around at 10 o'clock after X-Men is when they would start going to the nature shows. So like you had kids hosting nature shows. Like Steve Irwin would come on and do a nature show or something like that.
That was only on NBC for us.
Okay, yeah. I do remember that kind of stuff too.
CBS and ABC and Fox still had ABC. It was ABC that had the Looney Tunes show late.
Yeah. But like I remember, like you can look back in some of the comic books that I have that have the advertisements for Saturday morning cartoons, and it has the lineup on it.
Oh yeah,
and so you can see that, like Pee-wee's Playhouse. I remember seeing an ad for the premiere of that season's, you know, Saturday morning cartoon lineup.
Oh yeah, do you remember when they used to, I know ABC did this. I don't remember what other channels did, but do you remember when they would show the Saturday morning preview?
Yeah,
the Friday before
season,
the Friday night, because it used to be on a part of TGIF. They would, you know, preempt like Full House or something that week and show a 30-minute.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
recap or not like, it was recap, a big but deal. Introduction.
It was a big deal.
Yeah,
you know.
And I would wait for that. I would have it in my TV guide, and you know, know that was coming up.
We weren't fortunate enough to have a TV guide.
Oh, I'm sorry. We had the subscription,
but then when cable came out, we were like looking at that preview channel and watching it just scroll by.
I know. And then if you missed the thing that you were looking for, you
all
had to
over
wait.
Again, all over again. And it used to have that stupid blue writing, and it would just scroll up and disappear.
And then finally they started doing like programming on the preview channel.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you know, but yeah, this was a major part of our childhood because that was the only time, you know, especially for people like me who couldn't even get cable until I was in the 7th grade when it made its way out to my neighborhood. You know, that was the only time really for me to catch cartoons.
So one of the big things, I guess one of the big draws for Nickelodeon was that one of their advertising gimmicks that they did was that this is television for kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Saturday morning cartoons were like that for us. Like that was our time to watch television. My mom did not want to watch
Nickelodeon all day.
Yeah, or Pee-wee's Playhouse, or Smurfs, or the Care Bears, or whatever.
Yeah.
She just didn't want to watch that. So that was us. That was time for us.
Yeah.
Like, I remember just sitting there. So we had, you had your breakfast tray.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the little metal tray with the little legs? You'd have to fold the legs down and
Yep.
put it there.
Yep.
And so we used
God,
to
that just unlocked a memory.
we used to we'd put a pallet out on the floor,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they call them pallets where you're from.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you put a couple of blankets on the floor,
Mhm.
your pillows, and you would just stay there all morning,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to have a blue plastic tray
Mm-hmm.
that had like main course spot,
Yeah.
2 squares up top above that.
Like a cafeteria tray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except it was like for a kid. It was for a kid, for a house.
Yeah.
And I still have mine.
Oh, really?
As weird as it is, yeah. And I've been meaning to turn into something for Marcel, but I haven't yet. And I'm still working on that. Like, I haven't figured out how to do it, but yeah, it's somewhere in the collection room somewhere, buried deep within.
Better do that before this episode comes out.
I can't. I can't. I know what I want to do with it, but it's there. It is there.
Okay. Well, tell me off air.
And so, Sarah, but like I said, so these are, it was our time. That was
Mm-hmm.
a big thing, and we didn't see it as babysitting. I mean, I
No.
was thoroughly entertained.
Yeah.
And I just think that, like you said, it's part of the culture of back then
Mm-hmm.
that is not around anymore.
Yeah.
That, and this is now because of the internet, because like I said, YouTube is,
You can watch Saturday morning cartoons on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, you can watch Saturday morning cartoon commercials on YouTube.
Which I have gone down that rabbit hole before.
Yeah,
It
we
is
both have.
Quite entertaining.
It is. Like, we watched one the other day of the Count Chocula introduction of Blueberry,
Oh.
the cereal, with him and Frankenberry and Count Chocula were sitting there going, chocolate, strawberry, and then Blueberry shows up at the door and he's like, boo, Blueberry. But so that was just, those are memories for us as kids, and kids nowadays, they have no idea what they were missing out on.
Yeah.
And the marketing from that too. I mean, think about,
Oh, yeah.
how much money was made for these stations. And even after Saturday morning cartoons evolved into Saturday teen stuff.
Yeah.
So think about NBC.
Saved by the Bell.
Right. And then after the success of Saved by the Bell, then you have California Dreams. Do you remember that one at all?
Vaguely remember.
They were a band. Brother and sister had a band with their friends and lived in California and Malibu, obviously. And
I don't think I ever watched it.
okay.
I've heard of it though. Do you remember? Oh God, what was the one? There was somebody famous on it. Was it Sarah Michelle Gellar? There was some. It was like a tween or preteen. They called us preteens back then, but a preteen soap opera or something. Swan Lake. No,
I don't know. I know that Nickelodeon had a preteen soap opera called 15 for a while that Ryan Reynolds was in.
Swan's Crossing.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, it was with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yeah, I was not allowed to watch it. I just caught like a couple episodes randomly on TV. But yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar played this uber, like, think Cher from Clueless, but like a bitchy Cher.
Yeah,
and that was her. And she, like, her family had money and she flaunted it or something like that. I think I could have that totally wrong. I don't know. But anyway,
well, I'm looking up. So NBC. They called it TNBC for Teen NBC.
Okay.
And it started in 1992 and aired all the way to 2002, so almost a whole decade. And it only went off the air due to its replacement with the children's-oriented Discovery Kids on NBC educational lineup.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The government got into that and said, you have to have so much educational programming in. And so, but the lineups were Saved by the Bell,
Yeah.
California Dreams. I did not watch City Guys or One World, but I did watch Hang Time. That was where the basketball team.
Oh.
There was a basketball team at a high school.
Okay, I thought it was about surfers.
No. Hang Time was about a basketball team.
Okay. No, I don't remember that. The only one. And to be honest, Saved by the Bell, I only watched in syndication afterwards.
Well, you were lucky. I was stuck with it because I had a sister. She wanted to watch it.
Oh, no. I love Saved by the Bell in my mid-teenage years.
Did you watch Saved by the Bell the college years after everything went down?
I tried, but it's.
How about Saved by the Bell the new class?
No, I never watched it.
No. I was stuck.
So, but anyway, those are all regular TV shows. Let's get back to cartoons.
Okay.
So,
Well, that plays into Saturday morning, though.
I mean, it does. Yeah. I'm not saying it's irrelevant. I'm saying I want to talk about cartoons, damn it.
Okay. Well, so let's go. You want to
So on my list, I divided my list of cartoons that I wanted to talk about into early memories and the 90s.
Okay.
So basically I could have labeled early memories as the 80s, but whatever. So one of the early, one other one that, again, I had a memory unlocked the other day when I was watching I think it was that's what it was. There was an Instagram video of the Macy's Day Parade from like 82 or so.
Okay.
And do you remember a show called Shirt Tales?
Yep.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Bogey, the little monkey.
Yeah.
And was it Pammy the panda?
I don't remember. What color?
Pink.
Nope. I just remember the blue one. I think the blue one was like
a mole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
I did like him, but no, Bogey was my favorite, and then Pam. I want to say it was Pammy the panda.
It was. I'm looking at a picture of her right now. She had a little bow on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little pink bow. So that was like the earliest cartoon memory.
1982 on NBC.
Yeah. That was the earliest cartoon memory I have. But then after that, it was He-Man, and then quickly followed up by She-Ra.
She-Ra. Okay.
Oh, shut up. You've hummed or diddy-bopped jingles on here before, too.
She-Ra, She-Ra.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. But, and now when you were talking about, shows having to have educational content, the great thing about He-Man and She-Ra was every episode ended with what? You don't remember?
Yeah, PSA basically.
Yeah, a little moral.
But that's
for
why.
Every show.
That's why. So think about that, though.
No, that was in the 80s, though. That wasn't government required.
But what shows had that? G.I. Joe had one.
Oh, yeah.
They had one. He-Man and She-Ra had one.
Yeah.
In the 80s, NBC had The More You Know.
Yeah, which has become like a meme or something now, but they brought it back now too. So,
but what else used to have PSAs in it? Captain Planet did, but that was the 90s.
Yeah.
Muppet Babies had one.
Did it?
Yeah, there was always a theme or some kind of educational relevance to Muppet Babies.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So like I said, I watched the Muppet Babies in the mornings. So this is what would happen. My mom she was a teacher, but she taught in a district that was about 45 minutes away. So she had to get up every morning really early and get ready and then leave early. So for me to be up in time to say goodbye to her, which, she would not have allowed, well, I wouldn't have either because I was very much a mama's boy when I was little. I would have to wake up really early and then say goodbye to her, but then I would lay down on the couch and fall back asleep. But while I was in and out of consciousness, I would watch cartoons on TV, and the Muppet Babies was one that was on every morning. And so I would watch Muppet Babies and kind of drift off and back and stuff. Another one that was on, this one I remember specifically was on Fox, was the Super Mario Brothers cartoon. Do you remember it?
The live action?
No.
With the cartoon?
Oh, yeah. It was some wrestler or something who played Mario, and he hosted the cartoons or whatever. Yeah. But, well, okay. Do you remember every Friday what they
Zelda
would
be playing on Zelda? Yeah. So I do remember that. And that was like a special treat.
Exactly. Because I was obsessed, well, still am kind of obsessed with Zelda. And so that was what I was really, waiting for.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So anyway, He-Man and She-Ra were two big ones. Thundercats, which I know is a big one for you too.
It still is, yeah.
I was about to say,
have the entire series on DVD ready to go if I ever need it.
I was about to say, I remember watching an episode or two, or was that a new Thundercats that we watched? Did they reboot it?
They rebooted it, and some stuff changed on it because like Tigra became Lion-O's older brother.
What?
Yeah, no lie.
Oh, why?
When they rebooted it, that's what it became.
Okay, but Tiger was a girl.
No, that was Chitara.
Oh, Chitara. Oh, okay. Sorry.
What are you talking about?
I was thinking about Chitara. Okay.
Chitara.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, in the comic book, though, going on, sidebar, apparently there was a romantic relationship between Tigra and Chitara.
Oh.
They've developed that now.
Oh. Because wasn't Chitara with Lion-O or
No.
Oh.
What did you remember about Thundercats?
I have vague memories. I don't know. This has been
Oh my God, we need to
almost
have
40 years ago.
We need to have a marathon.
I just remember, what was the bad guy who was the mummy? Mumra. Yeah.
The ever living.
I just remember he used to have like spit connecting from his top teeth to his bottom teeth when he would transform.
Yeah, he'd always have like the jagged teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, and that the spit used to just like freak me out or something.
Ancient spirits of evil.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, no. And that first episode of Thundercats, Lion-O was actually a lion cub.
Oh.
And he was put in stasis and ended up growing in stasis. When they had to escape Thundera, they were all put in stasis. Well, his stasis pod did not work properly. So while the rest of them were placed in regular stasis and didn't age, he aged. And he came out from a young cub because him and Wile E. Kid and Wile E. Cat were best friends.
Oh.
And Snarf was his nursemate.
Oh, wow.
Snarf was like his nurse.
Yeah.
That took care of him.
Snarf.
Yeah. So that's why when he got older, that he was still basically a young cub in the body of an adult man. And so that's why there's a lot of kind of weird tension relationships between him and everyone else because.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, you have to watch the show then. I'm telling you.
I need to Well, so yeah, so Thundercats was a big one. And of course, another big one for me was Voltron.
Oh, yeah. They're redoing that too.
And I know, don't, I know.
Hey, he's celebrating 40 years this year.
So are we. I mean, but
Speak
no.
for yourself. I'm celebrating 45.
But no, Voltron was, and so a lot of these for me, you have to keep in mind too. Again, we didn't have cable.
No, we did not.
And so catching a lot of these was a rarity for me, unless they happen to have a collection of episodes on VHS at our local movie rental store.
Yep.
So we didn't have a Blockbuster. I'm not trying to just be like,
Well, no,
PC
yeah.
or
Didn't you
something.
work like in the mom and poppy shop?
Yeah, 2 of them actually. But yeah, the first one was called Video Magic, and that was a true mom and pop. It was just owned by my neighbor. And then the later one was called Pick-a-Flick.
That sounds dirty.
And so Pick-a-Flick was actually a small chain that was, I think there were like 6 or 7 stores in the county region or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I worked for them after I left Video Magic. But anyway, so He-Man and She-Ra and Voltron, a lot, like I'd watched them when I was little. And then as I got to be a little older, like 5 and 6, I had only video rentals to rely on to see those because there weren't any networks or any,
right.
And I didn't have access to cable channels yet that were showing them. So there was that. Now, 2 other shows that kind of got unlocked for me when I was show prepping. There was one that I remember, it was on HBO. And so when we lived on Main Street in Woodruff for 2 years, we had cable and we had HBO. And so while we had that cable, I remember watching this show that I couldn't even remember the title of it. It was called the Mysterious Cities of Gold. I lost.
I've never heard of that. Like HBO reminds me of Babar the elephant.
Yeah, it was called the Mysterious Cities of Gold. And the only thing I really remembered about it was, well, 2 things. Like I was obsessed with trying to find it, to see it, because after we left Main Street, I couldn't see it anymore.
Right.
And the fact that it involved, these kids who were looking for essentially El Dorado. And I remember that the main character wore this medallion that fit together with another from another character. And it was like essentially acted like a secret lock.
Okay.
That unlocked the city or something like that. I don't know. But I remember that one. And then also, do you remember Peter Pan and the Pirates?
Yep.
With Tim Curry as the voice of Captain Hook?
Yep. That was a good show.
Yeah. That one. And it was very different from the Disney Peter Pan. And that was the thing that I think,
that's what you liked about it.
Struck me. Yeah. It wasn't just the same old thing.
Right.
And so that was another
Peter
one.
was going around in a brown suit. He wasn't in green. He was in brown or whatever.
Yeah, he was in brown. Yeah.
And I think it struck true very much so more to the
original
Lost
text.
Boys. Yeah.
Or
the actual like Lost Boys. Like they looked lost.
Yeah. And to like Captain Hook wore, he didn't have black hair. He
Right.
wore a like a colonial era wig.
Yep.
Powdered wig. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Let you remember that one.
And then the one show from my early memories that stuck with me the most was DuckTales.
So overdone.
What?
I'm not kidding. I hate saying that, but
Oh,
like DuckTales.
I hate
and
you saying that too.
You can. Like Chippendales Rescue Rangers, overdone.
Oh, I loved it. Oh
You
my
can love it
God.
all
That's
you
in
want,
my
but overdone.
90s section.
Yep, overdone.
Why?
Overdone. It just is.
How?
They just are.
Are you still watching it or something? Or
No,
what?
it's just so that's everyone's go-to.
Oh,
Like, be original. Be original. Go with Tailspin instead.
The Tailspin's on my list too.
Yeah. Can you sing the Tailspin theme song?
Right now, I have the DuckTales theme song stuck in my head, but I know
That's
I
what
know
I'm
it.
talking about. That one. And
Well, that's
you
because I just
also
mentioned
know-
it.
But you also know like the Chippendale Rescue Rangers theme song too.
No, I can't remember that one. Something about. No, I can't remember.
You
that
really
one.
don't.
No.
Sometimes some crimes they go slipping through the cracks, but these two gumshoes
Oh yeah.
are picking up the tracks. There's no case too big, no case too small. When you need help, just call Chippendales.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Rescue Rangers. Okay, I remember it now. No, when you said gumshoe, that's what unlocked it for me because I remember that's where I learned what a gumshoe was.
Okay.
Because I heard
Never
it.
mind Carmen Sandiego.
Huh?
That's where I learned what a gumshoe was. Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, or maybe it was there. I don't know because I was obsessed with both.
I mean, there was a
but-
cartoon of that too.
Yeah.
You know.
I
I
remember
just
the
think.
chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She died a couple of years ago, didn't she?
I know. Yeah, I think so. But I always, for some
But
reason,
that is not the cartoon. There was actually
No.
a cartoon. That was actual like the game show.
Yeah. I always thought the chief, like later on, I thought Alfre Woodard had played the chief.
No.
No, I know.
I always thought she's like really mean. I'm like, don't mess with her. She's mean.
So that was my early memories. And then one thing that I noticed was that there were lots of spin-offs that were successful that I also enjoyed. So like DuckTales had the spin-off of Darkwing Duck.
Okay.
And then Rescue Rangers, I think Rescue Rangers spun off Tailspin.
No, they weren't related.
They weren't.
No.
I thought.
You look at the Jungle Book.
I know.
Universe.
Yeah, but I thought
There was no relation there.
there wasn't.
Nope.
I thought I thought Baloo or somebody
Nope.
started out on
Nope.
Rescue Rangers. Well, then did Rescue Rangers spin off something else that I'm forgetting?
I don't think so.
I could have sworn there was one that was associated.
Like I
with
know
that.
Darkwing Duck was one of the heroes from Huey, Dewey, and Louie, like one of their childhood heroes. Like that's how the spinoff happened for Darkwing Duck.
Yeah,
But
but then they
think
also
there was-
had what's his name? The guy, the sidekick that called him DW.
on Darkwing Duck. Yeah.
He was a character on DuckTales too.
Yeah. I don't think that Tailspin had a spinoff because it was two different universes.
Well, anyway, so that gets into my 90s list. So Darkwing Duck was at the top of my 90s list, followed by Rescue Rangers, since that you have since poo-pooed. And then Tailspin.
I just said that it's overdone. I didn't say it was
You
poo-pooed.
rolled your eyes. That is a poo-poo.
Well, whatever.
Anyway, Tailspin. I did love Tailspin. Did you know that Sally Struthers was the voice of what's her name in that?
You know, so the boss.
Yeah. What's her name? Rebecca?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So she always reminded me of Kirstie Alley and
For
Rebecca
real?
from Cheers.
Yeah.
Like,
I was about to say
whenever-
like from Cheers.
Yeah. So like whenever they would talk about her, because she was like very bossy and just kind of
Mhm.
like, that reminded me of that character from Cheers. Like I always thought about Rebecca from Cheers when I see that one. Yeah, no, I just Rebecca Cunningham. Yeah.
Which sounds like that's a name from like a live action show or something.
I don't know.
So I had three more in the 90s that were like the last that I guess I watched before I
Last
phased
hurrah.
out of cartoons. Yeah. Goof Troop.
Okay.
That might have been the last one because it was very sort of like teen oriented too because Max was a teenager in it.
Yep.
And then Tiny Toons.
Okay.
And then they had the spinoff of Animaniacs.
Correct.
So Tiny Toons, like I remember watching that with my dad and him loving it because it was very similar humor to the Looney Tunes.
Well, Animaniacs was really written for adults.
Oh, yeah, Animaniacs,
You know?
definitely. And I didn't even really watch Animaniacs as a child. It wasn't until later on in my later teens that I really started noticing Animaniacs and appreciating their humor.
Right.
Do you remember what I don't remember their names. What was the lead guy? Barfo,
In what?
but Animaniacs.
The 3 siblings?
Uh-huh.
Yakko, Wacko, and Dot.
Yakko, okay. Yeah, Yakko. Do you remember the bit where Yakko would sing the
All the
countries
capitals
of the world?
He did the all 50 capitals too.
Oh, I never saw that, but they would run that as like a show promo,
Right.
and I remember watching that, and I loved that. Like I think at one point I memorized the song,
Well, let's go.
or at least part of it. I don't remember it now. I remember United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, something and something and something.
Peru.
Okay. You know it? Oh my God, you still know it, don't you? Go.
No, I don't know it.
Do it. Yes, you
I
do.
don't know it.
You know it better than I do. Do it. Go. United States, Canada. Come on. Come on.
It's Haiti and Peru or something like that.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama. Something in Haiti, Peru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Good luck.
Okay.
I'm not doing it. Even if I do it, I would not tell you.
I'm going to have to look that up on YouTube and watch it again. See if I remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and those were the ones that originated in those time periods. But now there were lots of other cartoons that I would catch in reruns and in syndication that I loved, like the Hanna-Barbera stuff. I loved all of that.
Mhm.
The Flintstones, the Jetsons. Do you remember the movie where the Flintstones met the Jetsons?
Yeah. I was going to say, I was always interested in those crossovers.
Uh-huh.
Like when Yogi Bear did the
Yogi Berra.
Yogi Bear. I don't remember which one it was, but they had like a worldwide treasure hunt going on, and it combined all the Hanna-Barbera characters together.
Yeah. Was that a movie?
No, I think it was an actual cartoon.
Oh, okay. That sounds really familiar, but and it's probably something that they compiled into a movie, and that's probably
right.
what I
That's
know
I always
from.
love those when they put those characters together.
Yeah.
Like when they did the drug special, the cartoons, all the cartoon characters got together.
Yeah.
And they put like all the different cartoon characters together in one cartoon. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like Mickey Mouse should not be talking to Heathcliff, but there he is talking to Heathcliff, and Garfield's in there too. Like,
oh, I don't remember that.
I'll have to find
with
that
the
one for
Disney
you. Yeah, it was all
characters
together.
too?
Yeah, because Winnie the Pooh was in it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I'm going to have to look that up.
Okay.
I vaguely remember a cartoon drug special, but that was probably a Nancy Reagan
They
thing.
also had like the animated version of Alf was in it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it was just I was like, oh my God, how does that even happen in this world that they're all together in one world? I mean, what is this?
I guess especially for somebody like you who followed comics from a kid, as a kid where there were distinct universes where
Well, I remember when Marvel and DC combined, and I was like, oh my God.
When did that happen?
Mid-90s.
What was that for?
There were several crossovers in comics, but
in the comics it happened? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like the Hulk and Superman actually went head to head one time, or Captain America. But in one of the worlds, the Armageddon universe was birthed out of a fight, and it combined Marvel and DC characters together.
Oh, that's so cool.
Into common characters. Like, I'm trying to think of what his name was, but Captain America and Superman combined together.
Oh, okay.
Storm and Wonder Woman became one. Wolverine and Batman became Batclaw.
Oh.
Like they had their own distinct.
Huh.
I'll have to find that out. It's Armageddon. I do remember that.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
That was a mid-90s thing, though.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we've gone through your cartoons.
Yeah.
Are you finished with your list yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So
other than like the old stuff like Looney Tunes, Schoolhouse Rock, Scooby-Doo.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Ruh-roh.
Well, that was another thing. Like when Batman and Scooby-Doo were together on one cartoon, I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing in the world. You know?
Uh-huh.
Like when the two detectives got together, I was like, what in the world is going on? It's like when you saw Legend of Zelda on Fridays from the Mario show, I was like, oh my God, it's time.
Yeah.
So a lot of mine, like I do remember watching Garfield and Friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Garfield's Christmas special.
Yeah.
Always used to make me cry because the grandmother would always talk about how her husband died and how she was all alone in the family, and find out, sidebar, that voice of the grandmother in the Christmas special for Garfield is Pat Carroll, who also voiced Ursula the Sea Witch in The Little Mermaid.
Oh.
So she played the grandmother.
And then later had a cameo or a guest star appearance on Designing Women.
Yeah. Well, so when we were little, like every Christmas, they would always do the Garfield special on CBS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one distinct, like Marcella's going to call me when she hears this episode and talks about this. But every time, every year, they would go to light the tree in the special. And when I think John's dad plugged up everything, all of them would go, ooh,
yeah, with
and
the
their
big
mouths would make the big O.
Yeah.
And we would always, her and I would just bust out laughing every year at that. But so that one was one. The Adventures of the Gummy Bears was a big one for me, you know.
Gummy Bears.
I still listen to that theme song and can watch that show
everywhere.
also. I love that show. That's a good show, you know.
Yeah. I started to put that on my list, but I didn't. That was another early memory for me. So I remember the theme song clearly, but
yeah. And you said Muppet Babies. I remember watching Muppet Babies on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
On CBS. But I remember also watching it before it became the cartoon when it was actually the puppets.
What?
You don't know about that?
No.
Yeah, it's actually puppets. They did it like Muppets.
Oh my God, I have to find this.
I thought you knew about that.
No.
So, and that one, and Muppet Babies was always funny too because I could sing the theme song to that one also right now if I needed to.
Muppet Babies.
No, from the very beginning though. But the funny part for me was always Nanny, because Nanny was nothing but a pair of stockings and shoes. Yeah.
She was like the Wicked Witch of the East,
yeah,
really.
You just saw her.
All you ever
basically
saw.
saw her calves and the shoes she wore, and that was it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might get
occasionally a hemline. Yeah.
But
oh my.
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
God. No, I remember seeing these, but I thought they were just like toys that were made for
I think they did one season or a couple of episodes of Muppet Babies as like actual Muppets.
Because there's Kermie in his little sailor suit.
I think so. That's what took it off. Right. That's what made it into a cartoon.
Oh my God.
I remember having a puzzle. It was a Fisher Price puzzle that was Kermit in his Muppet Babies outfit as the Muppet, not the cartoon, but it was him.
Oh wow.
And I remember that was one of my childhood puzzles as a kid. So let's see. So that one was it. Obviously, it wasn't a cartoon, but Saturday morning, Pee-wee's Playhouse is big for me.
Oh no.
You know.
I'll roll my eyes at that one.
You can all you want to, but you can all you want to. I'm trying to think of what else. So, you know, in the 2000 or 90s, I guess I should say.
I was about to say, if you're still watching Saturday morning cartoons in the 2000s.
They had no problem with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Pokemon in the 2000s. What's your point?
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, that's right. You did watch also, what was it? Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Such a good show. Written for adults, man. Written for adults.
Oh, really?
It really is. Like,
well, that's the thing. There are a lot of cartoons that are written for adults. Doesn't that classify as anime, though, anyway?
Avatar?
Yeah.
It's definitely drawn in that style, but I wouldn't consider it anime, no.
Okay. I don't know what constitutes. Well,
I don't either. But some of that style is there. So I do, like I said, so those Gummy Bears, Muppet Babies, Garfield, Heathcliff was on also, but I think that was a Nickelodeon was a Heathcliff or USA. Super Friends
Heathcliff,
was a big one.
I don't think was USA because I was watching it.
Oh, Super Friends was a big one too for me. The Justice League Super Friends cartoon.
But again, that's an old one.
That was in the
70s.
That was the 70s. Yeah. But again, when those characters merged over into other universes and other worlds too, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is so cool. Care Bears was a big one.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
Alvin the Chipmunks.
Oh, yeah. And then the movies came out.
Oh, yeah.
Not
Chipmunk
the
movie.
Yeah. Not the most recent one with what's his name?
No. You're talking about the Chipmunk movie where they introduced the Chipettes.
Yes, and they were like
they're going around the world.
Yeah, because I was like,
they were diamonds. They have to collect all the little chipmunk and chipette dolls that have the diamonds stuffed in them.
Yes, yeah. They were essentially diamond smuggling and didn't know it.
Yeah, Zsa Zsa Gabor played the villain in that one, I believe.
Oh,
on that one, and her brother Klaus was in it, and he always had to be. Her cat would always attack him, I do remember that. I remember the song from that too. I can sing that song if you wanted me to.
Which one?
The Boys of Rock and Roll.
I don't remember that one. I remember them doing Wooly Bully with the
God.
Mayans.
Yeah, when they're putting Theodore inside the pot and they're about to boil him.
Yeah.
Oh no, they make him the king, and then that's because they're going to boil him. That's why they're like paying homage to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Theodore.
He always got the short end of the stick.
And then my nephew's name is Theodore now.
True. Yeah, but he goes by Teddy.
I know.
And these were good songs, and very well sung. I would love to see who voiced all these characters now.
You just reminded me of another one when you said the songs, Gem and the Holograms.
Oh,
so
yes.
when you even look at some of those,
I don't know how I forgot that
cartoons from the early days, and whoever wrote that had to write a song or several songs and compose the music in each episode of the cartoon. It was not just, stupid as it can be, though. When you look at the plot lines now, I'm like, oh my God, what more were we thinking? Why we like this so?
Yeah, I don't remember any of the plot lines.
It was stupid. Like Jerrica Bennett lost her father, and he was in charge of Starlight Music and also had the orphanage. And so she was put in charge of the music company, half of it, with the other half of another guy who was a business executive. So she shared responsibility of the music company that her dad founded, basically. And also was then put in charge of the orphanage house that he founded. The problem was the business manager that owned the other half of the company was the manager of the Misfits, who was their arch enemy, basically. It was horrible. Horrible plot line. Anyway, so going into the 90s, though, for me, Captain Planet, obviously, 92, 93.
Quick pause.
What?
I was looking up the voice cast to see if anybody famous. That was definitely not Zsa Zsa Gabor. That was somebody named Susan Tyrell.
I remember the voice. Do you remember the voice at all?
It was very sort of Zsa Zsa sounding. But guess what? As just like the bit part, the Arabian Prince, guess who the voice of that was?
Who?
Nancy Cartwright.
Oh, Bart Simpson herself.
Yeah. But no, the same woman, Janice Carmen, voiced Theodore and all of the Chipettes.
That I believe. Here's Klaus.
And he always reminded me of, that had to be modeled on that one actor. I can't think of his name, but he looked like that. I can't even think of but he talked like this. I think he might have been French, but he always played a villain too.
No. Did you ever okay, so I never watched G.I. Joe. I never got into the G.I. Joe franchise.
Me neither. I saw a few episodes here and there, but not much.
What about the real Ghostbusters?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that was 80s.
And where Slimer was suddenly a good guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this is the Nickelodeon with Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget was Nickelodeon?
I believe so.
Oh. Yeah, I remember Inspector Gadget.
The Smurfs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Transformers.
More than meets the eye.
A pup named Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I can sing the whole theme song to that one, too. The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I remember that one.
The New Adventure? I don't remember that, I don't think.
It ran for 4 seasons. I'm looking at it right now. I can sing, like I said, I can do the theme song for that one, too. Gotta get up. Gotta get going. We're gonna see a friend of mine. He's round and he's fuzzy. I love him because he's just Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear. What?
I don't remember that.
I'm sorry. That's your bad.
The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Yep. What about Dink the Real Dinosaur?
No.
Dink the Real Dinosaur. He's our friend and a whole lot more. Okay. What about the Littles? They lived in the
cupboard.
Not the cupboard, but the baseboards.
Oh,
so behind the grate or something like that in the house.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this came out in the 80s. Possibly Ninja Turtles was a big one too.
Oh, yeah.
So what else? It was like Shirt Tails. I guess Care Bears was very similar to Shirt Tails. Because Shirt Tails had the symbol on their shirts. Their words would pop out like the Care Bears would on their stomachs,
I barely remember Shirt Tails, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
What was the thing that was similar to Shirt Tails that you thought of?
The Get Along Gang.
I think I remember that name, but I don't remember.
They used to have afternoon. Their clubhouse was a caboose, and it was a moose, Dottie the dog, Montgomery the moose.
Oh, I'm looking at it now. No, I don't think I remember this. This looks
They get along,
pre-80s.
gang, get along, gang. It's not.
Oh no, 83, created
Yeah.
in 83.
What are you looking up now?
Shirt Tails.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my earliest cartoon memory.
I'll say so. Also, Dungeons and Dragons when that came out.
Oh yeah,
You know the cartoon that was really big.
Yeah.
And
then my mom, I think, was terrified that I was gonna
become into witchcraft. Or
she
something.
she bought into the whole satanic panic thing of the 80s.
No, it just turned you gay. Whatever. The Snorks.
Oh my God! And again, on Shirt Tails, Nancy Cartwright was the voice of Kip Kangaroo.
Okay. The Snorks.
Yeah.
Do you remember them?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what else we used
Digger.
to watch.
Digger was the mole.
Yeah. The blue mole with the blue shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pac-Man, when that came out, I thought that was too cool too because he had the different ghosts and stuff like that would run around.
I don't think I ever watched it. I remember that it was a thing, but
yeah, the Flintstone kids. They were all younger, obviously, because they're kids.
Yeah. I
and it was
barely remember
Baby Dino.
Yeah, and he was
yeah.
Okay,
so
yeah.
That.
I always loved that.
But that goes back to like when you were saying like spin-offs from the other shows. You know, like they did that, and Scooby Doo had like 5 different versions of that. And I remember when they finally switched Shaggy out of that green shirt and put him in a red shirt. I was like, wrong, just wrong. You know, like you should not have messed with anything like that.
No,
and they did that there too. So I go back to the '90s again. A lot of my '90s stuff, like Captain Planet, was big in '92. And it wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon, but Power Rangers was really big. Like when that came out for me, that was a live action, obviously.
You know how I felt about it.
I know, rip off of Voltron. Mm-hmm. You'll be okay. That also had a couple of spins off too, because VR Troopers and then Big Bad Beetleborgs from Outer Space came out from both of those kind of shows. But, X-Men came out. That was big for me. And Spider-Man came out. And that was also where my comic booking started to kind of take shape. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
That's where I was introduced to the world of comic books there. And so that was kind of my go-tos. And like I said, Captain Planet, I mean, I still will watch it, even as corny as it is. I'm like, what in the world was I thinking there? But
so while I was looking up Shirt Tails, one thing popped up below it that I think is probably gonna, I'm sure you have to remember this. Pound Puppies.
I didn't watch that though.
You didn't?
I didn't watch that.
You, the dog lover from birth, didn't watch Pound Puppies?
Yeah. I'm good. Thank you.
I had the little plush toys.
Didn't
and
have me
everything.
either. I'm good.
Oh, but they had the little face.
That's fine.
They were
That's
cute.
Fine. To Bobby's World, Howie Mandel.
Oh yeah.
Voiced the dad.
Yeah. Well, he voiced Bobby too.
Yeah. Big cartoon here. Batman the Animated Series. And this goes back not from Saturday mornings, but this goes back to the afternoon cartoons around 4 o'clock to 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I did watch it. Now that I remember, I did watch that.
So that was where Fox came in, though, because Fox was Batman. X-Men run again in New Orleans at 10 o'clock in the morning. Spider-Man would usually follow after when he came out. But those are the main networks. And then you look at Dexter's Laboratory on Cartoon Network. That was always a great one.
Well, I didn't have cable for the longest time.
And what my favorite movie was as a kid? What movie did I always check out from the video store when we would go?
Little Mermaid.
Okay, so then they also had CBS had the Little Mermaid the series cartoon.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I think it ran for like 2 or 3 seasons on that.
Oh,
where it was just kind of a continuation of before she became the Little Mermaid when she was, Pinky and the Brain, which again was a spinoff of
Animaniacs.
Right, and they had their own show eventually. So that was just, those are my go-tos, And like I said, we used to watch Beakman's World, which I guess wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon, but it was a Saturday morning programming.
Yeah.
Which was very similar to Bill Nye the Science Guy,
So one thing, and again, like I think, we touched on it briefly, but I think one of the oldest ones with the most staying power has been Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, but I don't see that as a Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, it came on Saturday morning.
I know.
I watched it.
I know, again, but I'm saying for me, for that one, I think they would always just kind of do like one small one, and it was like kind of not a promo, but it was kind of like a bonus. Like they would play it like when they had extra 5 minutes in programming or something like that. Like it was never done as a show.
Oh, it was it was on schedule for us. It was because that was what they would play, like you said, just one segment of it before they would show the Looney Tunes or Bugs Bunny and Friends thing. So, but no, it was always there, and I would watch it right before I would watch Looney Tunes, and I loved it, and that's how I learned conjunction junction and how a bill becomes a law.
I still don't know what their damn function is.
What? Joining sentences together and phrases.
Is that like and but?
Yeah.
Okay.
And but or.
Sure.
Yeah. You don't remember the trains and it would connect them? The conjunction car would connect them?
No.
Oh, well, you need to go back and watch it, and then you'll understand it.
Okay, I'll watch that if you go back and watch like some Thundercats or something.
Okay. I'd watch Thundercats. I might be bored now as an adult, but.
You are. And again, you're kind of like, when I watch it, I'm like, what in the world? Why was this so good?
Yeah. That's the way so I have, what do I have? I think I have a season of He-Man or something, or a season of She-Ra. No, I have do I have the complete? I have the complete first season, I think, of She-Ra. And I remember when I got it, watching it. Did you give that to me?
Possibly.
I think so. And I was watching it and I was like, what did I see in this? Now, you did get me the complete series of Voltron one Christmas.
I think I have that also, but I'll tell you, when I watch Voltron, I fall asleep because the writing is just so over my head, even as an adult now. I'm like, oh my God. But I think it's because of the music in the background. Well, they always play music, even when it's just dialogue. They played music in the background. Yeah. I was like,
it was very,
that was just the style of the show. Right.
Music
and I was
too.
Like, okay, this is the kind of music I listen to when I go to bed. It's like that white noise music.
But no, now, do you know why the writing is the way it is on that show?
No.
So that, so it was originally a Japanese series, an anime, I guess, called Go Lion. But this company, I forget what the name of the company was, bought the entire series from Japan, but it didn't have subtitles and it didn't come with scripts or anything like that.
So they had to make up their own
They
stuff.
made up the scripts just based on what was going on in the action.
That sounds like Power Rangers.
And so they had to just completely, exactly, because Power Rangers is a total knockoff of Voltron.
Just letting you know, it sounds like Power Rangers.
Yeah, again, because it's a knockoff. But anyway, so yeah, they didn't know what the lines were, so they wrote all that dialogue originally just based on what was happening in the action of the show. All right, so what's your takeaway?
I think we should return back to the golden age of cartoons on Saturday mornings.
I agree. I mean, it was. And of course, that's us just sort of being nostalgic about it, but still.
It's not. Let me just point this out.
Okay.
When you go into a grocery store, between all the reboots of all the stuff from the 80s, like, okay, we rebooted My Little Pony, we rebooted Care Bears. You can go into the store and I can see He-Man toys in the store now, like action figures in the store.
G.I. Joe, thing that I had in the 80s, too.
Right. And they make it, it's retro to make it look just like it was in the 80s also. Not, new style, but made just like it with the squishy head and everything for He-Man.
Well, because they're marketing to us.
Right. Okay. But how many of these adults would watch Saturday morning cartoons, eating a bowl of Captain Crunch or Lucky Charms to recapture and come back to a simpler time? There's a marketing there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Now, granted, it's going to be, dinks who don't have, well, not just dinks, but just inks. Dual income, no kids.
That's not true.
Income, no kids.
I think Marcel, who has dual income with kids, I think if something came on, she'd sit down with Liam. She would go ahead and share that with him and make memories from that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think it's exclusive just to dinks that you call them.
You've never heard that term before?
No.
A dink?
No.
Oh, I've been striving all my life to become a dink.
I'm a dink and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, wait. That's when the kid's like, well, how do you have all this money for all these Legos? I'm like, I don't have kids. My kids are my Legos.
You're a dink.
Then my comic books are my Legos. Or my comic books are my kids.
Your dogs are your kids. Come on.
They are. And they cost just as much as a kid does.
Ain't that
so
right?
I can't get insurance on my dogs.
You can. It's just a ripoff.
Yeah.
Because it's a repayment plan, and it only anyway. I've legitimately looked into it.
I just know that my 10-year-old beagle has a prescription that I have to give $120 to every single month for 30 days. So just so he's not allergic to anything. All right, so again,
Okay,
we need to go back to Saturday morning cartoons. There's a revival for a lot of stuff that is retro, whatever you want to call it. But the marketing is there for the return of the Saturday morning cartoons. I'm just saying, for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
And we need to get the government's hand out of it.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. We need to return to it.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we can't.
Well, and I think, it's a valid form of child entertainment. I mean, now granted, there are millions of opportunities for entertainment for children these days.
Exactly. So why can't we have that as an avenue for entertainment for children?
Yeah.
If the government doesn't control your iPad usage for your kids, then why should they control what's on television?
Because the government controls the airwaves. That's why. So, ready for trivia?
Yep. I think we should do arts and literature because what we were looking at, no, we're not doing that. Never mind. Entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
What city is the setting for Gladiator?
Rome.
I guess. I don't know. Hold on. I got to check it. That is correct.
Because the Colosseum is in Rome.
What is Crocodile Dundee's given name?
Ooh. Is it Michael?
It is.
Okay. Yeah.
Who reportedly turned down Meryl Streep's role in The Music of the Heart and Michelle Pfeiffer's role in The Fabulous Baker Boys?
Hold on. Meryl Streep in Music of the Heart.
And Michelle Pfeiffer in The Fabulous Baker Boys. This person was also, though, an actress in A League of Their Own.
Gina Davis.
Nope, Madonna.
Oh. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
What shock rocker's "Rock is Dead" is heard in The Matrix?
Oh, I want to say Ozzy Osbourne, but I know that's not it.
No. Shock rocker.
Yeah.
Matrix. 90s. Late
I know.
90s.
Don't shush. Hold on. I got it. Not Marilyn Manson.
It is.
It is? Okay. Yeah.
What band's A Crazy Little Thing Called Love is a tribute to Elvis Presley?
Queen.
Mm-hmm. Who was the first character Johnny Depp portrayed in more than one movie?
In more than one movie?
Yeah.
I think it might have been Jack Sparrow.
It is.
Okay.
Yay. Okay, do this one first. And I haven't looked at the answers, but
okay.
I saw a question. I think question number 4 or 5 is perfect for me.
Okay. What is the didn't we have a question about Reservoir Dogs last week?
No.
Or last time?
Nope.
What is the name of the mob boss who hires the gang in Reservoir Dogs?
I don't even know if I've never seen that movie.
I never would have remembered this, and I have seen it. Joe Cabot.
Okay.
Number 2, whose mother complained about his swearing in the film Goodfellas, which features the F word 246 times?
Never saw that movie either.
Oh. Actually, I don't think I have either. Anyway, it was Joe Pesci.
Okay.
Number 3, who performed The Power of Love with his band The News in Back to the Future?
Huey Lewis.
Yeah. Number 4, what Elton John album introduced classics including Candle in the Wind and Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting? Think of another major Elton John hit.
Crocodile Rock?
Think something related to something that we have recently seen. A couple of times.
I don't know.
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Okay. I'm not a big Elton John person.
Oh. Then why did you think that was going to be a good question for you?
No, it's a Superman question.
Well, that was question 4. Oh, okay. Number 5. Who does Superman take for a flight after falling in love with her? That's so stupid.
Lana Lang.
No.
It's Lois. Come on.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. Number 6. What actor originated the role of Inspector Clouseau?
In what?
In the Pink Panther movies.
Leslie Nielsen?
No. Peter Sellers.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
Oh, my God.
I'm uncultured. What do you mean to tell you? But I can sing the theme to The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Gummy Bears.
I can sing Gummy Bears.
And the Chipmunk Adventure.
Chipmunk
Adventures. So, uncultured this.
All right. Well, that does it for this week's episode of From Art to Atoms,
The Ultimate Curiosity Show.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you'll join us again next week.
Yep, we're going to go watch some Saturday morning cartoons.
Exactly.
Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
You've been listening to From Art to Atoms, The Ultimate Curiosity Show, episode number 20. Your hosts are Brandon Shoemaker and myself, Michael Folse. The show is produced by Brandon Shoemaker and is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show to stay up to date on all of our latest episodes and news. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggested topics you'd like for us to dive into, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can email us at FromArtToAdams@gmail.com. We would love to hear from our listeners, and we value your input. Don't forget also to follow us on social media to stay updated on upcoming episodes and behind-the-scenes content. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at From Art to Adams. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platforms. Your support helps us reach even more interested minds just like yours. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay curious, everyone.